Okay, so we've got another deep dive today, and this one, it's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a heavy one for sure.
We're heading over to Hartford, Connecticut.
Lots of people asking about
Yeah,
this.
lots of questions about this case, and as always, we're going off what you guys sent to us,
Right.
news articles, court transcripts, all that.
Exactly. Got to look at the sources, see what we can find.
So what we have is a man, he's in court, facing,
Well, some serious charges.
yeah, some very serious charges, and, you know, everyone is trying to figure out,
What even happens?
yeah, how we even got to this point.
It's these early stages of any legal case.
Right, it's all kind of murky.
Yeah, and especially when you're talking about something like this.
Well, let's get into it. You sent over an article kind of detailing what these charges even are.
Yeah, and I mean, it's tough to talk about.
A man facing charges related to the death of a young mother and her baby.
It's tragic, just a horrible situation. You know, you said it, the impact on the community here is just immense. You can't really measure it. Loss of life is always hard to deal with, but when it involves a mother and her child, a baby,
It really does it shakes everyone.
it shakes that community to its core. Yeah, that sense of safety and security, it's just gone.
So this court appearance, I mean, it just feels like, this is just the beginning.
Absolutely. This is, act 1, scene 1.
Yes, a very long play.
A long play, right. There's so much more to come. Evidence still needs to be gathered. It has to be analyzed. You've got witnesses, they have to be interviewed. Legal strategies. I mean,
From both sides.
yeah, prosecution and defense, they're just starting to build their cases. This is a complex process. There's a lot of moving parts. And, I've got to say, there's a high probability this will go to trial.
It feels like a lot to untangle.
It really does.
What are some of the things, I mean, you've seen so many cases like this. What are some of the things that make these types of cases just so complex?
Well, cases involving the loss of life, especially when a young child is involved, emotions, they run high, very high.
Yeah, for everyone.
For everyone involved, it makes it incredibly difficult for people to remain objective, to focus on the facts.
You just want answers.
You want answers, you want justice, and you want it now. But the legal system, especially in Connecticut, it's intricate. There's a very specific process, rules of evidence that must be followed. It takes time.
I was looking over those court transcripts you sent, and you can just feel it.
Oh, yeah.
The tension,
Mm.
everyone in that room, the victim's family, the accused, the lawyers, they're at the start of something that's probably going to be incredibly difficult for everyone.
It's a long road ahead. And, it's so important to remember everyone involved, they have their own perspective, their own story to tell. It's the legal system's job to navigate all of that.
And hopefully bring some justice, to this whole horrible situation.
Exactly. That's the ultimate aim.
So we've got this initial court appearance. We're in Hartford. We know it's probably going to be a very complicated case. And you have this entire community that's grappling with this just awful loss. Where do we go from here?
I mean, it's like that old saying, the wheels of justice, they turn slowly. But they do turn. There will be more court proceedings. There will be investigations. And you can bet there will be more legal maneuvering in the coming months, as this case moves forward. It's important, though, not to lose sight of the victims here and the impact that this has had on everyone who loved them.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in all the details, all the legal back and forth.
Right. But it's their loss, their lives. But for me, I think it also makes us ask ourselves, as a society, how can we prevent tragedies like this?
That's a big question.
It's a question we have to ask. We focus so much on what happens after, but the real goal should be stopping it before it even begins.
We're always reacting.
Always reacting. What support systems do we have in place for families who might be struggling? For individuals in crisis? Are there warning signs we should be looking for? Things that we can all learn to recognize. How can we build stronger communities that keep everyone safe?
So much to think about. And honestly, things that I bet most people don't think about until something like this happens.
It's a wake-up call.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. This developing case in Hartford, the man facing these incredibly serious charges related to the deaths of a young mother and her child. This is just the start of what's going to be a long and complicated legal process.
And we're just going to keep following it. As the story unfolds, I think it's important to remember the bigger picture, the importance of community support, figuring out ways to prevent these tragedies from happening again, and of course, the ongoing search for justice.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking the time to, well, really dive into this with us.
Well,
We'll be keeping a close eye on this one. You can bet on that. As soon as we have more information, we'll do another deep dive. So stay tuned.